Greetings, Guardians, and welcome back to Olympus Alliance. Over the last couple of days, we've been putting the brand new Titan Palant through hundreds of tests. Different artifact levels, different skin levels, different dungeon setups, different Guild War teams. And after all that testing, one thing became very clear. Palant is different. He isn't a Titan that gives you everything immediately. He's a Titan that keeps getting stronger the more you invest in him. In fact, after our testing, we believe there are two completely different ways to build Palant, depending on what your goal is. One build is perfect for players whose priority is progressing through the dungeon. The other is for Guardians who want Palant to become a true monster in Guild War. So today we're going to explain both approaches and help you decide which one is right for your account. Let's begin with the dungeon build. Yesterday, in our first look, we already talked about how important Palant's weapon artifact looked. Now that we've tested it, we can confidently say it really is the heart of his entire kit. Think of Palant almost like Sigurd, not because they play exactly the same, but because both Titans bring incredible value simply by staying alive. The difference is that while Sigurd protects your team in one way, Palant protects it by constantly disrupting the enemy formation with his ram. If your main objective is simply pushing dungeon levels, you don't necessarily need a fully maxed Palant. In fact, you can get excellent value by focusing on just two things: his health skin and his weapon artifact. Those two upgrades alone already transform him into an excellent frontline tank, capable of supporting your team during long dungeon runs, especially in mixed rooms where his sustain becomes incredibly valuable. So, if fairy dust is limited, or you're prioritizing dungeon progression, don't panic. You don't need to max absolutely everything immediately. Health, weapon artifact, and let Palant start doing his job. However, if your goal is Guild War, everything changes. And this is where Palant surprised us the most. During our testing, we upgraded him little by little, level after level, artifact after artifact, skin after skin. And something interesting happened. He never seemed to reach a point where we thought, that's enough. Instead, every new upgrade made him noticeably stronger. Every increase made him survive longer. Every improvement gave him more value. Simply put, Palant is one of those Titans that keeps rewarding every investment you make. Just like Sigurd. A small Sigurd dies quickly. A maxed Sigurd becomes a nightmare. The exact same feeling happened with Palant. The bigger he became, the better he performed. And that makes perfect sense. His job isn't simply dealing damage. His job is buying time. Every time Palant charges into the enemy team with Ellerite Ram, he completely disrupts their positioning. Enemies are knocked backwards. Their rhythm is interrupted. Their opening attacks are delayed. And those few seconds are incredibly valuable, because while the enemy is trying to recover, your Titans are already attacking, already generating energy, already casting their own abilities. Time is everything in Titan battles. Sometimes 2 or 3 seconds are enough to completely change the outcome of a fight. But for Palant to keep creating those opportunities, he needs to stay alive. And that's exactly why building him properly becomes so important. Let's start with his artifacts. His weapon artifact should absolutely be your #1 priority. The more health regeneration it provides, the longer Palant survives. The longer he survives, the more times he disrupts the enemy team, the more value he gives your entire lineup. This isn't just healing, it's more time. more control, more opportunities for your team to win. Next comes his Crown Artifact. Extra damage against light and darkness titans. Extra defense against light and darkness titans. At first glance, it may sound like a situational artifact, but during testing we noticed something very interesting. As we increased its level, Palant became noticeably more effective against those compositions, especially once the artifact reached the higher levels. That's when we really started seeing the difference. So yes, if you're building Palant for Guild War, don't stop halfway. Bring the crown all the way up whenever possible. Finally, we arrive at the seal. Normally, this is where many players start asking themselves if it's really worth investing. For Palant, our answer is yes, and here's why. Remember, he already has 2 health skins. You can max both of them. His weapon regenerates health, and his seal increases both health and physical attack. Everything in his kit points toward one single objective: stay alive, continue disrupting, continue protecting, continue giving your team time. Of course, the physical attack is welcome because it strengthens his RAM, but honestly, health is the real star here. The more health Palant has, the harder he becomes to remove. The harder he becomes to remove. The more times his weapon regenerates health, the more disruptions he creates, the more value he brings to the battlefield. Everything works together. That's what impressed us the most. Nothing in his build feels disconnected. Every upgrade reinforces the previous one. Then we have his skins. Once again, health becomes your absolute priority. And not just one health skin, both. Many players see 2 health skins and immediately think it's repetitive. We don't. After our testing, it makes perfect sense. Palant isn't designed to burst enemies down. He's designed to become an immovable wall. A titan that simply refuses to disappear. A titan that constantly interrupts enemy momentum while giving his own team more and more opportunities to fight back. And the bigger his health pool becomes, the better everything else starts working. Guardians. This is only the second time we've said something like this. The first was with Asherona, and now we're saying it again with Palant. Don't be afraid to max him. Every upgrade matters. Every investment gives something back. He isn't one of those titans that only needs a few key upgrades. He genuinely keeps scaling all the way to the top. Now, if you're only interested in dungeon progression, you can absolutely start much earlier. Health skin, weapon artifact. Enjoy the value he brings. But if Guild War is your objective, go all the way, because the more Palant grows, the more he rewards your investment. Finally, one last thing. Don't forget that the Ellerite faction isn't even complete yet. We still have the Super Titan coming. We still have the Summoner coming. And those Titans could completely change how the entire faction performs. That's exactly why we strongly recommend continuing to build your Ellerite Titans, because what comes next could decide whether the Ellerite faction becomes one of the strongest Titan teams in the entire game. Guardians. This was our first complete guide on how we recommend building Palant after our initial testing. We'll continue testing every interaction, every artifact level, every skin priority, and every possible team composition over the coming days. And as always, if anything changes, you'll be the first to know. Until then, stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.